Abdul Alhazred. Abdul Alhazred is the supposed author of the Necronomicon, the mad Arab poet, prophet, and doomed intellectual who looked too far into the abyss and decided to take notes. You know that saying, "Don't stare into the void." Abdul stared into it, took its temperature, and built a summer home there. He began as just another mystic, wandering the blasted deserts of 8th century Damascus. But his curiosity was radioactive. Legends say he found something, some presence, in the empty quarter. Some whisper it was Yog-Sothoth whispering equations into his skull. Others say he merely inhaled too much cosmic dust. Either way, he came back wrong. He wrote the Necronomicon in fits of apocalyptic inspiration, his quill cutting into the parchment like a self-inflicted wound. And the thing about madness is, it's not chaos, it's order turned inside out. Every sentence he wrote was a prayer written backward, a taxonomy of horrors that pretended to be literature. He wrote it in blood and metaphor and equations no human tongue can pronounce without losing a few IQ points permanently. He died, they say, devoured by an invisible monster in a crowded market. Maybe it was guilt, maybe it was literal. I like to imagine the crowd watched him thrash and vanish. And someone in the back just said, "See, that's what reading gets you." Abdul wasn't cursed, he was rewarded. The universe saw a human dumb enough to understand it and said, "Fine, you want truth? Here, have all of it." His mind cracked open like a piñata and the candy was infinite screaming stars. The Necronomicon isn't his creation, it's the echo of his implosion. A human brain trying to describe infinity while on fire. Yog-Sothoth. Yog-Sothoth is an outer god, the omniscient, amorphous cosmic key and gate that sees all time and space simultaneously. Like Google Maps if it could cause spontaneous psychosis. There's something disgustingly elegant about Yog-Sothoth. It's not a creature. It's a geometry with opinions. It exists everywhere but also outside everything, like an unpaid bill or a traumatic memory. The Necronomicon treats Yog-Sothoth as the interface between realities, the Wi-Fi signal of existence. Try to imagine omniscience, every atom, every timeline, every birth, death, and embarrassing thought, all at once. Yog-Sothoth doesn't think, it is thought. And when it manifests, it's described as a cluster of glowing spheres, each one a universe blinking in and out. This isn't mythology, it's data overflow. The cosmos is running too many tabs. And Yog-Sothoth is the lag. Alhazred supposedly summoned it, or thought he did. Maybe he just hallucinated it after 3 days without water and one too many forbidden syllables. But the horror of Yog-Sothoth isn't its form, it's its logic. It's the concept that knowledge and destruction are the same action. The closer you get to understanding, the faster your atoms file for divorce. There's a rumor in the book, don't read it, that Yog-Sothoth can grant wisdom. Sure, like how a blender can grant smoothness. The price is identity. You'll know everything, but you won't remember who wanted to know. That's the punchline. The Necronomicon isn't a key to power. It's a suicide note written in algebra. The Black Goat of the Woods. The Black Goat of the Woods is Shub-Niggurath, the fertility god of cosmic corruption. A creature of infinite births and zero maternal instinct. A maternity ward designed by hell. Oh, she's a beauty. They call her the Black Goat with 1,000 young. Which sounds metal as hell until you realize the 1,000 young are literally dripping. Mutating spawn crawling out of her endlessly like a nightmarish 3D printer. The Necronomicon reveres her as the mother of monstrosities. The wet, pulsing factory of creation. It's motherhood without love, biology without purpose. She's not evil. Evil implies morality. Shub-Niggurath is productivity on an existential scale. She births things the way a volcano produces ash, constantly. Violently. Beautifully indifferent. Her worshippers in the book chant her name in woods at night. Hoping for fertility. For life. What they get is excess life. Life that doesn't stop. Tumors of being. The text's descriptions fluctuate between awe and horror. Like reading a botched love letter to entropy. There's something uncomfortably erotic about her myth too. But not in the way humans understand. Its reproduction is contagion. Pleasure is collapse. You start to get why cultists go mad. They mistake the overflow of existence for divinity. And somewhere, I imagine Abdul Alhazred scribbling, half in worship, half in disgust. She births the stars. She births the meat. She births the end of language. Maybe he envied her. Maybe he feared her. Maybe he realized that creation itself, raw, uncontrolled, is the purest form of horror. The black goat doesn't care about us. She doesn't need worship. She just creates, until creation itself begs for death. The book itself. The Necronomicon is a grimoire. A book so cursed it's practically a biological weapon of ideas. No one agrees on what it's made of. Some say it's human skin. Others claim it's camel hide. My personal favorite theory? It's time itself, bound in a form the human mind mistakes for parchment. When you open it, you don't read words, you read trauma made into syntax. You think book, you think story, order, logic. The Necronomicon laughs at that. Its pages reorder when you blink. Its margins bleed. Its diagrams form and collapse like dying stars. You can't read it, you enter it. Every reader describes something different. Because it's not a book, it's a mirror made out of nightmares. People who study it say things like, it's a compilation of summoning rites and cosmic histories. Sure, and heroin is just a plant extract. The Necronomicon knows you. It tailors the experience. It speaks in your inner voice. Except it says things you'd never say. It teaches you that language isn't a tool, it's a weapon. And your mouth is the battlefield. One scholar, some poor, caffeine-marinated soul, called it a hypertext of despair. I love that. Imagine trying to click a link in your own mind and instead falling into a hole where reality's back-end code starts leaking into your bloodstream. That's the Necronomicon. And yet, people want it, because human beings are addicted to the forbidden. We crave the things that will ruin us the most. The Necronomicon isn't evil, it's just honest. It shows you the structure of reality. And reality is indifferent. The only thing more horrifying than a malevolent universe is an uncaring one. Some claim copies exist in libraries, Harvard, the Vatican, the British Museum. I think that's adorable. The real book isn't sitting on a shelf, it's waiting in your curiosity. You already opened it the moment you asked. What's the Necronomicon? Nyarlathotep. Nyarlathotep is the crawling chaos. The only outer god that actually enjoys talking to humans. The rest are nuclear reactors, he's the reactor salesman. Where the other gods are mindless cosmic phenomena. Nyarlathotep has charisma. The Necronomicon mentions him like a recurring nightmare that learned stand-up comedy. He doesn't destroy you directly, he convinces you to destroy yourself. And he does it with a smile. He's chaos with a personality disorder, wearing humanity like a costume. He appears as a man, usually tall, elegant, magnetic. People follow him, they don't know why. He speaks in truths that sound comforting until you think about them too long. And then your sanity starts to peel away like wallpaper in a damp house. The book treats him as both messenger and trickster, the living mouthpiece of cosmic horror. He's the interface between divinity and delusion. He travels the dreamlands, the cities, the back alleys of perception, collecting cults the way others collect vintage records. But here's the real terror. He's beautiful. People who meet him describe feeling seen, understood, loved, until they realize he's laughing. Until they realize the affection was an experiment, and they were the control group. Every time a prophet, dictator, or tech CEO starts believing their words can reshape the world, I think of Nyarlathotep whispering in their ear, saying, yes, speak. The apocalypse loves a good monologue. The Necronomicon doesn't warn you about him, it flirts with him. Like the text itself is a little in love with its own doom. Maybe that's the point. Maybe Nyarlathotep wrote it, just to see what we'd do with the knowledge. Spoiler. We did exactly what he expected. The city of Relaya. Relaya is the sunken city where Cthulhu sleeps, dreaming beneath the Pacific, folded in geometry that hates straight lines. It's not architecture, it's a migraine rendered in stone. Angles that don't add up. Corridors that spiral inward forever. The Necronomicon describes it in language that almost collapses under its own weight. As if syntax can't handle its subject. Relaya isn't just underwater, it's under reality. A glitch, a wrinkle in space-time where nightmares metastasize. Cthulhu sleeps there, waiting, not dead, just dreaming. The text says, in his house at Relaya. Dead Cthulhu waits dreaming, but that's a mistranslation. What it really means is closer to reality as a side effect of his nap. Imagine living in a world that exists only because something bigger than gods is taking a nap. Imagine what happens when it wakes up. That's Relia, the ticking clock of the apocalypse, disguised as a city. People say they've heard it calling in their dreams, coordinates whispered in sleep. Sailors steering their ships toward places no map recognizes. That's the city flexing. That's the dream bleeding through. The Necronomicon gives no advice on how to survive it, just how to find it. That's what makes it cruel. It offers maps to your own undoing. And if you listen closely enough, late at night, when the ocean sounds more like breathing than water, you'll hear it. A deep, wet pulse, a heartbeat the size of continents. That's not the sea. That's the dream continuing. Cthulhu. Cthulhu is the great dreamer. The squid-faced messiah of cosmic apathy. The poster child of Lovecraft's existential horror. And, let's be honest, the closest thing the Void has to a celebrity. He's not evil. Evil would require intention. Cthulhu is massive indifference incarnate. A being so vast and ancient that it doesn't even notice you exist. Like a god having an anxiety attack in slow motion. The Necronomicon speaks of him with reverence and dread, describing a titan with wings, claws, and the sort of face you'd get if an octopus fell in love with a cathedral. He's sleeping beneath the sea in Relia, dreaming the world into existence, or maybe through existence. Every now and then, something in our collective psyche twitches, and we start sculpting little idols of him, whispering his name like a half-remembered fever. That's not fandom, that's infection. The book says when the stars are right, he'll rise again, but the stars don't move, we do. The horror isn't that he's coming back, it's that we're rotating into alignment with him. Humanity isn't summoning Cthulhu. We're just drifting toward the part of the universe where things like him are considered normal. Think about the kind of mind that dreams and creates a planet as a side effect. We live in his unconscious thoughts. You, me, this script, we're the background noise of a sleeping god's brain. And if he ever truly wakes up, that's not the apocalypse, it's the alarm clock. People worship him, but you can't worship something that doesn't need you. You can only acknowledge it. Like a bug realizing the shoe descending toward it isn't a punishment, it's just physics. Cthulhu doesn't want to destroy us. He just doesn't care if we get destroyed while he's stretching. The phrase, Finlu mglwinafh Cthulhu relia ganagal fatagan. The phrase, the mantra, the auditory migraine that launched 1,000 cults. Every translation ruins it. The best attempt goes something like, in his house at Relia, dead Cthulhu waits dreaming. But that's too neat, too grammatical. The original isn't meant to be understood, it's meant to be felt. It's the kind of sentence that unbuttons your perception. The Necronomicon doesn't just print it, it reveres it. It's treated as both prayer and password. Some believe speaking it aloud attunes your mind to the rhythm of the cosmos. Others say it's just a linguistic virus. A noise that opens a psychic window you can't close. And honestly, I believe both. I've said it out loud once. The air went weird, like the room was exhaling. I laughed it off, but deep down, something changed. There's an itch behind reality now, like static in the corners of my vision. That's what the phrase does. It teaches you how fragile your language is. The genius of the Necronomicon isn't that it gives you forbidden words, it gives you incorrect words. They don't fit in human mouths. And that's the point. Speaking them is an act of rebellion against coherence. It's you saying, I choose nonsense over ignorance. The phrase isn't just about Cthulhu, it's about us. It's a reminder that language has limits. And some truths need to be screamed in syllables that don't exist. It's the world's first anti-poem, written by a god who dreams in syntax errors. Madness. Madness isn't a side effect of the Necronomicon. It's the language it's written in. Every time someone reads it, the same thing happens. Comprehension curdles into revelation. Revelation decays into panic. And panic collapses into understanding. It's not insanity, it's exposure. The human mind isn't built for cosmic scale. You don't go mad, you expand until your sanity no longer fits. Alhazred understood this. He didn't lose his mind, he outgrew it. The Necronomicon whispers that madness is clarity seen from the wrong angle. That the real delusion is thinking the universe makes sense. People think of madness as screaming, twitching, raving, but the truer madness the book brings is quieter. It's the stillness after you realize there's no moral architecture behind existence, just processes. Mechanisms. Stars eating themselves politely. And yet, there's beauty in that. Terrifying. Brutal beauty. The kind that burns away sentiment and leaves awe behind. Maybe the Necronomicon isn't meant to drive us insane. Maybe it's mercy, forcing us to see reality without anesthetic. The last lines of the manuscript, if they even exist, are said to be unreadable. Not because they're indecipherable, but because they're too clear. Like staring into a mirror that doesn't blink back. Madness isn't failure. It's promotion. You leveled up into a dimension your neurons weren't designed to process. That's the secret the Necronomicon keeps whispering. Sanity is just a symptom of small thinking. Thank you so much for listening and following along with the story. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the YouTube channel so you won't miss out on more thrilling and exciting stories coming up. Your support is the greatest motivation for me to keep creating.